Amazon this morning is under fire. The online giant is the world's biggest retailer. The market value is nearly $250 billion. Amazon has facilities in 18 states. Nearly 100,000 people work there. The New York Times is now raising questions about the company's culture.
Jodi Kantor and David Streitfeld spoke with more than 100 current and former employees. Their story is the most read and emailed article this morning on the Times site. It says, quote in part, workers are encouraged to tear apart one another's ideas in meetings, toil long and late. They are held to the standards that the company boasts are unreasonably high. A former employee believes this, that Amazon is where overachievers go to feel bad about themselves.
This morning, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos is responding to the article with a letter to employees. Bezos says, quote, it claims that our intentional approach is to create a soulless, dystopian workplace where no fun is had and no laughter heard. Again, I do not recognize this, Amazon, and I very much hope you don't either. Jodi Kantor is with us at the table. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is a tough article on Amazon. In part, how did it come about?
So many of us know Amazon as customers, but what we realized is that we don't know how the company works inside, and then employees had very powerful things to say about it. They really spoke to the strengths of working at the company. They said that they love the innovation, the customer focus, the quality of the people who work at Amazon, but they were essentially questioning, is our workplace, it's designed to be tough, but is it too tough? A former human resources director at Amazon used the phrase purposeful Darwinism to describe the company's methods of constantly getting employees to do more and to improve.
But back to Charlie's question, did somebody approach you and say you should know what's going on here, or you just heard different things?
We had begun to hear more and more things about what life was like inside Amazon, but I want to be clear, we were moved also by the strengths of the company. This has become one of the most powerful retailers in the U.S. They've changed our way of shopping, and it's very clear that on some level what they're doing is working very well.
There are other companies that do what some of the things you're suggesting. They ask employees to give a lot, to be passionate about the company. They ask them to feel free to criticize supervisors. I mean, some of this is a healthy thing, and to be able to debate ideas. Some of this article suggested those are bad ideas.
Well, what we found so fascinating in reporting this article is that Amazon, on the one hand, is singular. They call themselves peculiar. They pride themselves on being different. That's a consistent message inside the company. On the other hand, it does reflect the future of the workplace. More efficiency, more data, come and go relationships between employer and employees. The question is, how far is too far? Are there limits on how hard employees can work? For example, we did hear about people who felt they were evaluated too harshly, people who suffered from cancer and serious pregnancy loss, who were evaluated very quickly after those things happened. We talked to the mother of a stillborn child who, as soon as she came back to work, was told that she was going to be monitored for her job performance. She felt the company wasn't giving her time to recover.
And you talked about people crying at their desks, grown men weeping. I mean, the way it was described, it sounded almost an unbearable workplace. Did you find people said that there was an upside to this?
Absolutely.
Culture?
Amazon employees, and you can see this in the response to the story, have a wide variety of experiences and reactions to working at the company. I'd say the biggest group we found in our reporting is people who really loved certain things about working at Amazon, but struggled with some aspects of its culture. As for the crying at your desk, one of the most fascinating beliefs at Amazon is that being sort of socially cohesive and making people feel good does not always produce the best results. So there is a culture of tough criticism there.
Jodi, thank you.
Thank you. We
turn now let's bring in Amazon Senior Vice President of Global Corporate Affairs, Jay Carney. He's a former White House press secretary. You've obviously have read this, and you obviously have been listening to what Jodi said about the New York Times story that she worked on. What say Amazon, and do you disagree with the facts?
Well, Charlie, thanks so much. It's great to be on with you again. Here's my fundamental reaction to the story. I've been at Amazon more than 5 months now, but more importantly, people like Jeff Bezos, the founder, and people who've been at the company for 10 or 15 years don't recognize the Amazon that the New York Times wrote about.
What is it that you don't recognize?
Well, this is an incredibly compelling place to work, a place where people are excited to come to work. And I think the fundamental flaw in the story is the suggestion that any company that had the kind of culture that the New York Times wrote about, and sort of a cruel Darwinian or Dickensian kind of atmosphere in the workplace, could survive and thrive in today's marketplace. You know, the competition for people in the high-tech industry right now, you know, MBAs, software designers, engineers, is fierce. I mean, you know, we compete with world-class companies around the country and the globe for the best talent. They could go anywhere. They don't have to work at Amazon. But over the past 5 years, we've grown from 28,000 employees to 183,000 employees. And somehow we've managed to do that and managed to keep some of the best talent in the industry because they like it so much, because of the spirit of innovation. You know, Amazon's 20 years old, Charlie, which is old in some ways for a tech company, but it has the feel of a startup. And you know, I'm not saying Amazon's perfect. Of course we're not. We strive to, you know, improve what we do every day. But I didn't recognize what I saw in the article.
Jay, Jody says that she spoke to more than 100 current and former employees on the record, talking about their experiences working at Amazon. How do you explain their feelings that they say is the prevalent feeling there at the company?
Well, I'd say a couple things. First of all, you know, we weren't able to check out anonymous anecdotes or the anecdotes of people whose names are in the story that we just saw yesterday when the story came out, or the day before when it was posted. You know, not, as Jeff Bezos, the CEO, wrote in that letter to employees, you know, we have zero tolerance for you know, behavior by managers that's not empathetic. And you know, there are a lot of stories that I can tell, including somebody I work very closely with, you know, who say the opposite. A woman I work with whose husband suffered from rare cancer, got enormous support from the company and has for several years now as she deals with that family challenge. So I guess I would say that, you know, again, Amazon wouldn't be the success it is if it were the company the New York Times wrote about. People could walk away anytime they wanted. These are folks who are in as much demand when it comes to jobs in well-paying industries as anybody in the world. I'd also say, you know, that.
Sorry
Go
to
ahead.
jump in, but just so I
Sure.
understand, are you
Sure.
saying, or do you have a concrete rebuttal here? Is there an error in this report that you're categorically saying this was incorrect, this reporting is wrong?
Sure, I'll say one thing, which is the story is sort of based on the idea that there's high turnover and attrition, but the facts are that the attrition, people leaving, cycling in and out of this company, is completely consistent with other major tech companies in the United States. There's no difference at Amazon. But what is different is that 150,000 of the people who work at Amazon out of the 183,000 are in jobs that didn't exist 5 years ago. My job didn't exist 6 months ago until I joined Amazon.
Jay, let me ask about a company policy.
Sure.
Is there no paid paternity leave at Amazon?
There isn't, but neither is there at about 80% of U.S. companies, which, you know, the New York Times didn't note. And you know, I think that, you know, a lot of companies in the tech sector and around the country are looking at their policies on maternity leave and paternity leave and evaluating them. We sure are. And look, again, you know, some of the issues that the article talks about in terms of diversity in senior leadership, you know, we share the same kind of challenges that other companies in our sector share, and we are committed to making the situation better.
Okay.
But again, if that's a great question, Charlie, because if you read the article, that little fact is written as something surprising when in fact it's consistent with 80% of U.S. companies.
Okay, Jay Carney, thank you.